A heist for the Rosetta Stone is about to begin. The camera pans from the Natural History Museum to atop a building with grotesque-like statues surrounding its parapet. There stands Wonder Woman, and Batman seem to be guarding the museum below. They are following a tip that Intergang plans to steal the stone. The iceberg lounge is visible from above. As Wonder Woman sees many young couples coming out from the lounge, she starts to give a hint about how she feels for Batman. He brushes off the idea, saying how dating from their team could affect him negatively. When the alarm rings, a black woman-like figure can be seen in the alleyway trying to unlock the museum's door. They think it is only a common thief. Jaeon must have gotten a bad tip. The thief throws the crowbar at Batman. It transforms mid-air into a snake, disappearing into the shadows. The thief reveals herself to be Circe, the sorceress and the mortal enemy of Hippolyta, Wonder Woman's mother. Circe, once banished to Tartarus, returns. Although she promises not to touch Hippolyta, she is now after Wonder Woman, trapped by the grip of the stone wall. Circe casts a spell to Wonder Woman, and what Batman just saw appalls him. Elsewhere, the curtains close as Zatanna's performance ends. She is also a Justice League member and a stage magician, but with a twist of real sorcery. Batman approaches her as she reviews one of her acts. He informs her of Diana's situation, now turned into a small pink-colored pig. She attempts to revert Diana to normal. However, her sorcery is no match to Circe's. She suggests employing the help of other League members like Dr. Fate. Batman refuses, saying that they should keep the situation between the two of them for the meantime. Zatanna, although confused about Batman's judgment, promises to help as she realizes that there is something more between the two. Zatanna brings them to a shopkeeper specializing in magical items to purchase the missing ingredient for her locator spell, the Chimera Scale. However, the merchant reminds her that every one of his magic items is valuable and requires a relevant price. It forces her to surrender an item of her own, an ancient Chinese coin. Despite the strength of the locator spell, Circe still cannot be found since her power conceals her very well. Diana, frightened by the spell's flashing light, runs away. Before chasing after Diana, Zatanna gets back her Chinese coin with a slight hand of magic. As both get weary and are unable to find Diana, Batman asks for the assistance of Bwana Beast with others like Red Tornado, Crimson Avenger, and Elongated Man to locate Diana. Bwana Beast eventually finds her. She ran away from him, passing through a small fence opening of a pork processing factory. Bwana Beast now finds himself amidst a drift of pigs. With no other option left in finding Circe as the locator spell miserably failed, Batman and Zatanna request the help of Themis, who brings them Medusa. She is Circe's former cellmate in Tartarus and may be able to give them a hint of Circe's whereabouts. According to Medusa, Circe has a burning desire to perform at the amphitheater on Mykonos to prove her skills in singing to the sirens. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman is still in the form of a pig and persistently avoids the butcher's efforts to catch her. Zatanna teleports with Batman to the amphitheater where they confront Circe, who is about to begin her performance. In response to Zatanna's attacks, Circe transforms her disciples into wild animals. The animals start attacking Batman and pin him to the ground. Concurrently, Diana has nowhere to hide when the butcher corners her with a gun. Her bracelet of submission blocks the bullets and saves her as she tries to escape again. She meets a stroke of worse luck when the other butchers block her way and jump in to restrain her. The butchers finally caught Diana. They tie her up and then put her on a conveyor belt toward the pork processing machine. In the amphitheater, Zatanna fights the Black Panther while Batman deals with the others. Batman throws gas grenades, putting the animals to sleep, then Zatanna casts a spell trapping the Black Panther in a cage. When the fight is over, Batman asks what he can offer in exchange for returning Diana to normal. Circe, interested in the offer, agrees to transform Diana back. But wait, it was only in exchange for something Batman treasures. Something Batman keeps hidden and can never regain once lost. It's like asking for something as precious as his soul. Batman then appears on stage in the spotlight. He pays the price by performing Am I Blue, where he showcases his hidden talent in singing. It is so touching that it brings both Zatanna and Circe to tears. Back to the factory, Wonder Woman returns to normal just in time to escape the terrible fate waiting for her at the end of the conveyor. Batman receives a round of applause from the crowd after his performance. He mentions saying thank you is not on the list of the things he's good at, but still, he appreciates Zatanna's help. In the League Watchtower, Batman and Wonder Woman talk about what happened. She explains how she doesn't remember much and asks him if she missed anything. Batman replies that Wonder Woman hasn't missed anything. She walks away humming to the tune of Am I Blue, which reveals she knew he sang at the amphitheater. Even confused and surprised, Batman smiles as the scene ends. On episode 6, heavy thuds of footsteps from a man's leather shoes on the cemented road echoes throughout the deserted area of a city. His heavy breathing engulfs the noise of the night. It is a man in his faint green suit running for his life as he tries to escape from something or maybe someone. He stops in front of a door. Before he gets to open it, laser beams melt the doorknob blocking his getaway. Appears Supergirl and confronts the man about something he should keep a secret. A group of masked men armed with laser guns and jetpacks attacks her before she can make a move. However, she subdues them with little effort. She then chases after the man again with her enhanced hearing. Her hearing leads her to a large building. Upon destroying its doors, she enters the building when she meets a weird-looking robot. The robot attacks and pins her to the wall with its claw while using its circle saw-like blade to attack her continuously. She kicks the robot, sending it to another room where she finds the man hiding who sets the robot in her. Supergirl approaches the man with an evil grin, then her eyes start glowing red. A horrible scream floods the building afterward. The scene shifts to Smallville, Kansas, where Supergirl bolts upright from her sleep as she screams and cries. She looks up where she sees the holes in the ceiling she unknowingly burned using her heat vision. In the League's watchtower, Supergirl discusses her dreams with Jayon. But having no capability to dream himself, Jayon suggestively says that her dreams are not of the ordinary, but are not from her memory either. Therefore, it is inconclusive. Supergirl worries that she might have done it in the past, and Jayon apologizes since he knows very little about dreams. He relieves her from active duty in the meantime. Supergirl meets Green Arrow at the cafeteria. He consoles her that her dreams are only nightmares, to which she disagrees. Their conversation was interrupted when the Question suddenly butt in. He implies that Supergirl shows all the signs of repressed memory. He reminds her of her time in Star Labs when she heals from an injury caused by Superman's attack on Earth a few years ago. He suggests that her dream might have happened when she is in a coma. Green Arrow warns her that Question is all about conspiracy, but eager to find the truth, the three still go on to investigate. Accompanied by Question and Green Arrow to Star Labs, Supergirl meets Professor Hamilton to see where she is during the coma. She mentions the robot from her dream that looks like a torture device. The professor leads them to a room where the actual robot from her dreams is. However, it turns out to be a surgical device with a kryptonite-tipped lance. He says the robot saved Supergirl's life. He implies that the surgery might have negatively affected her and caused her brain to create a scenario of fighting back. Supergirl hesitantly accepts this theory. Green Arrow is convinced, but Question opposes the idea as it is too good to be true. They are not too far from the lab when a group of military helicopters appear from the cliff and attack them. A Z-8 robot drops from one of the helicopters and charges towards Supergirl. The others release a squad of solder-dressed in protective metal plates armed with guns who proceed to attack Green Arrow and Question. They dispel them, and Supergirl now agrees with Question something isn't right. The robot is the kind that the League purchases for training purposes from the military. Question says that the officer in charge of the Z-8 robot was General Hardcastle, who led the army at the time of Superman's attack. In a remote countryside area, Hardcastle is now living in a wooden house. He is in forced retirement by the army's orders. The trio enters the house and finds Hardcastle armed with an anti-Kryptonian gun and seems to be waiting for someone to come. After several disagreements, Hardcastle reveals that the army and big businesses have been experimenting on metahumans, mutants, and aliens in search of new technology. He also mentions that the government is keeping an eye out for every one of the League members. However, he cannot say much about Supergirl's dream as he is long retired and is out of business. They leave hopeless and disappointed for not getting the answer to Supergirl's questions. Later that day, a woman in a white suit with short blonde hair and with the likeness of Supergirl enters Hardcastle's house. She introduces herself as T and asks Hardcastle if he is a friend or a foe. He tries to grab his anti-Kryptonian gun when the girl's heat vision destroys it before he can. She looks down at him with an evil smile on her face. Meanwhile, in the watchtower, Supergirl wakes up from a nightmare. Her instincts tell her that Hardcastle is gone. Jayon calls them with new information. A news station is broadcasting a missing case, that of Gilbert Hallstrom. Jayon recognizes him as the man from Supergirl's dream. The three decide to split up. Green Arrow and Supergirl go to the company Hallstrom worked for, Nouveau Gen. Question to wherever he prefers. Question disguises himself as a taxi driver and waits outside a steakhouse. Lasser, the reporter from the news, comes out of the restaurant and gets inside the taxi. He brings Lasser into a dark alleyway and reveals his true identity. In Nouveau Gen, Green Arrow sneaks in as the reliever of the security personnel and Supergirl follows. As they run towards the lab, a familiar hand in white gloves uses a keycard to open the door. Back to Question. He interrogates Lasser, who later reveals that he's been seeing a girl with blonde hair and blue eyes for about a week who is also having nightmares. Question drives off and leaves Lasser behind. Green Arrow and Supergirl are now inside Nouveau Gen, where they find a piece of evidence that the company has been experimenting on her DNA, and in fact, they cloned her. They see the footage of her clone during training exercises. She realizes they must have some kind of telepathic link since what she saw matches her dream. They hear someone coming. It is T. They chase her to a holographic chamber of Metropolis, which T uses as a trap. T starts the offense with Swift when she wrestles Supergirl through the wall. She says she cannot let Supergirl continue her life as they are present in each other's minds. It can be an inconvenience to her since Supergirl can always have a hint of what she is doing. The conversation breaks into a fight. T exceeds Supergirl's abilities. She is more physically mature and has been trained to be a military weapon. Therefore, she is on a higher level of strength. Supergirl has a hard time matching T's powers. Green Arrow comes to her aid and shoots T with one of his explosive arrows. T turns her attention to Green Arrow and launches her heat vision, breaking the walls. Green Arrow stumbles to the ground with all the debris. Meanwhile, Question breaks into the lab. The fight between T and Supergirl continues in the air, where they contest each other's strengths through a fistfight. T gets the chance to blow a vital attack, throwing a building into Supergirl. Just as T is about to finish off Supergirl with her heat vision, Question appears. He mentions that T also has sleepless nights due to her dream, similar to that of Supergirl's, and implies that their connection affects each other. T's conscience comes running through her, and she hesitates to attack. That gives Supergirl a chance to counter. She lifts a car and directly plummets it to T. Question runs away as T breaks free from the attack. Elsewhere, a black shadowy figure monitors the fight on screen from one of the cameras in the holographic room. It receives a call and nods to the orders from the other line. The facility starts to self-destruct. T disappears from one of the explosions. Green Arrow hurries to save her, but it's already too late. Supergirl brings Green Arrow and Question to safety as the facility explodes. Back to the Watchtower, Supergirl talks to Professor Hamilton about the incident. They search the wreckage, but they were unable to find any traces of the clone. The professor assures her that Star Labs destroyed any genetic evidence from the surgery. In a military-guarded room, a girl covered in bandages lays on a laboratory bed. Professor Hamilton comes and gently tells her to rest. He brushes her face as he calls her name, Galadia.